or other times you're just out and you're working out and you pull something. But I feel like with soft tissue, people, they kind of don't give it the attention it needs, and it's so important.
Right, because a lot of times you feel like this is not a serious injury. It's not so important to take care of your soft tissues. Like you said, it can happen from trauma, but it can happen from just lifestyle. Let's say somebody has poor posture day after day. We've talked about posture before on the show. That affects your soft tissue. And your soft tissue, let's say we're talking about the neck, and the soft tissue that holds these bones together becomes overstretched or develops scar tissue or develops abnormal tension. Now it's not going to give proper stability and mobility to the joint. So over time, that's going to lead to arthritis, to degeneration. And when you're talking about the spine, that's going to lead to these little holes that those nerves come out of getting smaller. When it gets smaller, the person starts to get numbness, tingling, burning, sharp pain. If we're talking about something in your knee, somebody injures their soft tissue, you can injure just one ligament in your knee, and you may never be able to play that sport again. So ligament is what holds ligaments and tendons and muscles. That's what supports and gives mobility to every joint in your body.
When you say soft tissue, it's all those things.
It's all those things, the muscles, the tendons, the ligaments, and in the spine, also the discs are also soft tissue. And soft tissue injuries, you can have an injury, like somebody who, God forbid, they have a heart attack, right? You had no symptom at all. You were fine. You were talking to your friends. You were having a good time. The first symptom you got, boom, you had a heart attack. So just because you don't have pain, does not mean you don't have soft tissue injuries going on. For example, somebody who develops headaches or neck pain or numbness and tingling in their arm or in their wrist. These are all common things that people have. Most of the time, it's soft tissue related. So we're talking about carpal tunnel. It's people, they sleep wrong. Some people sleep with their wrist bent like this, or they're working on computers.
You know, you were talking about like no signs or symptoms. A lot of times when people get into just something basic like a fender bender, not a lot of damage done to the car, but here, like you could see here, a lot's happening to you. So you walk out, you have a rush of adrenaline, you think you're okay, but I would imagine there's a lot happening here with soft tissue.
Well, absolutely. So soft tissue is not meant to absorb a 4,000-pound automobile traveling at whatever, 30 miles an hour, slower or faster, hitting the back of your car. If I push you just a little bit, your head moves. We've all watched football games where somebody gets tackled and you see their head snap. Well, that's a 180, 220-pound man. Imagine a 4,000-pound vehicle. That's why they have headrests in the back in a car. So when you get rear-ended, your head's going to snap back, and the only thing that's stopping it from continuing to going back is that headrest. Before they came out with headrests, people would get paralyzed more often in car accidents because the force that would come in would send their head violently back. Nothing would stop it. They would literally tear the spinal cord. But what happens is people overstretch, tear, or rupture the soft tissue. So if I was to take your thumb all of a sudden, whang, yank it back down to here and go back, it happens so quick. You're like, oh, that's fine. It's right there. Yeah, but I tore all the soft tissue that holds that thumb together. So that's why people get out of an accident. Again, the adrenaline's flowing. What's their main concern? Their car. They don't necessarily sit there and feel like, ooh, my neck's bothering me. And even if they do, it may be just some general stiffness. You don't look at that as being so severe.
So even with a fender bender, something minor, again, you get out, you look around, you're like, oh, just some, dents here, nothing major. To your body, there could be a lot happening internally, so you recommend to call a physician.
Anybody that's ever involved in a car accident, especially with the new current laws. We have laws in the state of Florida that after you've been involved in a car accident, your automobile insurance that you've been paying for years, if you don't see a doctor within 14 days, that auto insurance does not have to cover you. And a lot of people, when they have an accident, they wait a little while. And usually the symptoms, the more severe symptoms, take a little while to get there. You know what I'm saying? Because you damage the soft tissue. It's biomechanically not working right. So if you knock your car out of alignment on this day, a month from now, it's really bad. Not the exact same day that you knocked it out.
So almost, like, it's just a good rule of thumb. Go get checked out. And then the other part of it, I remember you talking about this before, maybe even last year. You also have the documentation, because you're going to need that, because if this does sneak up on you a month from now, you did get checked out. You have a baseline of where you're at, different signs and symptoms.
You should always go see a doctor, get evaluated, let him see what's going on, take some x-rays. To know is to know, to not know is to guess. And there are little things that can happen, or big things that can happen. Sometimes you get in a car accident, the symptoms are real severe. Other times they're very, very mild. But the reality is, always go on the side of safety. And the proper thing to do is go get evaluated, go checked out. And from a legal perspective, if you don't do this, then you lose your insurance benefits, which insurance nowadays, your private insurance is not responsible for traumas. The auto insurance is. So the more people that don't use their auto insurance and put it on their private insurance, your private insurance is not going to cover that. The moment your doctor says this is related to a car accident, it's not covered. So then people are left, what am I going to do? Now auto insurance don't cover it either.
And really the message is get checked out. Like, that's the most important thing.
No, you gotta
'cause
just always
obviously,
get checked out.
you just went through a whole bunch of different things with your car and now yourself. The last thing you want are all these bills coming up.
Yeah, you definitely don't want that, especially when you have the coverage. You've been paying for it.
Right.
And like we talked about, these are things that people don't always necessarily look at as being so severe, but understanding that soft tissue, what aids stability, mobility to every single joint in your body, you don't mess around with it.
You know, and before we were on, we were talking about this, and you had a really good analogy. And it's like having a shoe on but not tying it. That's
Right.
what the soft tissue is doing. It's putting everything together. And that really did, for me, put it in perspective. I'm like, oh, yeah. And
Your ligaments is what holds the joints together. That's why somebody who injures their ligaments in their knee, you'll see them up there doing a little test. Like in one of those fights that night, on the Conor fight, they came in and they tested that girl's knee, and the guy goes, oh, yeah, you got an ACL. I don't know how he knew that. But he was checking to see the motion of the knee. And then when someone's doing that test, if the motion is more than it's supposed to, then you know something has happened to that ligament.
Well, thanks again for all your time and information. To learn more, you can give him a call at 1-800-DOC-TONY or online, doctony.org. Thanks again. We appreciate it.
It's always a pleasure to be here.
Stick around.
Be
More to
blessed,
come
Jax.
right after this.